During a massive international break where Newcastle players are thriving, a lot is brewing behind the scenes. So from Nick Woltemade taking all the spotlight,
I just want to say, I don't know why you keep doubting me, but keep doubting me.
to Lewis Hall dropping a masterclass,
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
to Anthony Elanga's exciting revival in a new role. Should Newcastle be concerned about Tonali's fitness ahead of a massive clash with Manchester City? Plus, we'll also reveal the truth behind the future of Fabian Schär. As per, join us as we'll break it all down and discuss the latest Newcastle United news during the international break.
Let's go.
Starting off with the Nick Woltemade masterclass, the big man had been struggling to make an impact for Newcastle in recent games after scoring in our 2-0 win over Spurs in the Carabao Cup. Against Brentford, Bilbao and West Ham, he barely received any service and could not influence play the way we know he can. However, after going 3 games without a goal, Woltemade exploded back into life for Germany on Friday night. He scored a brilliant second-half brace to guide his country to a 2-0 win over Luxembourg, moving them to the top of Group A in World Cup qualifying and earning a strong 7.9 rating. In that match, he had 2 goals, 2 shots on target. Those 2 goals take him up to 10 in all competitions for the 2025-26 season for both club and country. That tally includes 4 in the Premier League, 1 in the Champions League, 1 in the Carabao Cup, 1 earlier this season with Stuttgart, and 3 for Germany in his last 2 games. Nick Woltemade has now hit double figures already, while also scoring 3 goals in his last 2 appearances for the national team, announcing himself as Newcastle's new rising star on the biggest stage. Elsewhere in the same match, Schär came on for Germany for the final 15 minutes and produced a very tidy display, earning a 6.6 rating. In the next match against Slovakia, Woltemade led a complete attacking clinic as Germany ran out 6-0 winners. Dropping an outstanding 8.1 rating, Nick Woltemade continued his hot streak and delivered another standout performance. In this match, he had 1 goal. With that, Nick Woltemade now has 4 goals in his last 3 games for Germany and continues to build serious momentum. His season numbers for 2025-26 now stand at 4 goals, 1 assist, 10 shots on target, and 76 successful dribbles, showcasing just how dominant and technically gifted he can be. Over the last 6 calendar months, the contrast with Alexander Isak is stark. Isak, who cost Newcastle £125 million, has scored just 1 goal, and that was against Southampton from the Championship. Meanwhile, Nick Woltemade, who cost £65 million, has scored 19 goals across the same period. The lesson is clear: create chances for the big man, and he will punish teams. And we also need to keep finding ways to get him into the box more consistently, because when he is there, he is truly unstoppable. In the same game against Slovakia, Schär played 26 minutes from the bench and produced another clean, composed showing, earning a 6.8 rating. During that appearance, he had 2 recoveries, 1 ground duel with 0-1, 1 aerial duel with 1-1, 0 times being dribbled past. And based on these recent performances, Schär is beginning to show that he is more than just a rotation option. Then, Newcastle United star Sandro Tonali played the full 90 minutes in Italy's tense 2-0 win over Moldova in Thursday night's World Cup qualifier. But the performance wasn't one that drew much praise in the Italian press. The game itself offered him very little room to shine. Moldova spent long stretches of the match with 11 men behind the ball, limiting space and forcing Italy to dictate possession patiently. As a result, Tonali wasn't able to showcase the strength, power, and driving runs that have made him one of Newcastle's standout performers this season. Even so, he rarely put a foot wrong and quietly delivered a disciplined, all-action display, leading Italy with 2 tackles, the most of any Azzurri player on the night. Despite the lack of space, Tonali still produced strong underlying numbers. He recorded 86 touches, completed 60 of his 70 passes for an 86% accuracy rate, and found the final third 9 times. He added 2 shots, made 1 clearance, 1 back possession 5 times, and most impressively, was not dispossessed once. His performance again highlighted one of his key strengths: post-recovery progression. Few midfielders moved the ball forward as effectively after winning it back as Tonali, whose combination of aggression and composure continues to separate him from most in his position. Italy later confirmed Tonali would not feature in their next World Cup qualifier against Norway, publicly citing that he wasn't 100% fit and the staff were unwilling to take any risks. However, the real motivation was more tactical and precautionary. Tonali is on a yellow card and risks suspension for a crucial playoff match if he was booked again on Sunday. For Newcastle, that decision couldn't have come at a better time. Eddie Howe desperately needs his star midfielder fully fit as the club attempts to halt a concerning dip in form. Italy went on to suffer a humiliating defeat to Norway in his absence, with Erling Haaland scoring twice and sealing top spot for the Norwegians. Tonali will certainly be hungry for revenge on the domestic stage, especially with Newcastle set to face Manchester City next. Elsewhere on international duty for England, Dan Burn, Anthony Gordon and Nick Pope were all called up, although the latter two withdrew due to injury. Burn remained available and was an unused substitute in England's 2-0 win over Serbia, but he earned a start in the following match against Albania, helping the Three Lions to another 2-0 victory. His performance was quietly outstanding. He produced 2 tackles, winning 1, alongside 2 interceptions, 4 clearances, and 3 recoveries. He wasn't dribbled past once, won 2 of his 3 ground duels, dominated all 3 of his aerial duels, and committed just a single foul across the match. In possession, Burn was even more impressive. He completed 98 of his 102 passes, for an outstanding 96% accuracy rate, the highest of any player, and had more touches than any player on the pitch with 114. Of those completed passes, 51 of 54 in the opposition half found their mark, while 47 of 48 in his own half were accurate. He also connected with both of his attempted long balls and created 1 big chance along with a key pass. It was a commanding, composed display from the Newcastle defender, one that reinforced why the current England manager trusted him to start. Then, Lewis Hall continued his return to form with an excellent 65-minute performance for England's under-21 squad, reminding everyone exactly what Newcastle United gain when they have a dynamic, modern left-back on the pitch. His 7.5 match rating reflected a display full of energy, precision, and intelligence. Across his cameo, he recorded 61 touches, completed 36 of his 38 passes for an outstanding 95% accuracy rate, recovered the ball 8 times, won 6 duels and earned 5 fouls. He also made 3 clearances and won a penalty, showing both his defensive awareness and attacking instinct. Hall looked like the complete technician England thought he was becoming before injury slowed his momentum, bringing quality in every phase, from progressive passing to secure defending and sharp decision-making. Incoming England boss Thomas Tuchel already knows Hall well from their time at Chelsea. An early chatter suggested the Newcastle teenager had everything required to become England's starting left-back at the 2026 World Cup. Those ambitions were derailed by a knee injury in March, ruling him out of Tuchel's first camp and keeping him away from England duty for nearly a full year. Now fully recovered and back in the under-21 fold, Hall looks ready to challenge for a senior call-up once again. His blend of technical ability, composure, positioning, defensive reliability, and attacking drive means he won't give up on a World Cup spot. If he continues down this trajectory, he will unquestionably be pushing the senior squad again. Hall also started alongside Lewis Miley in a 2-0 win over Ireland, where Miley posted a solid 7.1 rating. In that match, Miley produced 73 touches and completed 58 of 61 passes, again showing 95% accuracy. He was perfect in his own half, with all 21 passes finding their target, while completing 37 out of 40 in the opposition half. His long passing was mixed, completing 1 of 2, and although he failed to register a shot, he contributed with 1 key pass. Miley also made 1 successful tackle, 1 interception and 1 clearance, recovered the ball twice and was fouled once. His 8 losses of possession and 2 heavy touches reflected a few loose moments, but the rhythm, intelligence and composure that define his game were all on display. The pair are now preparing to face Slovakia as England continue to build their next generation. Across the globe, Bruno Guimarães produced another assured display for Brazil as they beat Senegal 2-0 at the Emirates Stadium. Playing 98 minutes under Carlo Ancelotti, a manager who clearly trusts him, Bruno contributed with 44 touches and completed 24 of his 27 passes at an 89% success rate. Defensively, he was excellent, winning 5 ground duels, making 4 strong tackles, producing 2 blocks or interceptions, and recovering the ball 5 times. In possession, he crafted 2 chances, continuing his evolution into one of Brazil's most complete modern midfielders. Thriving under Ancelotti, he looks sharper and more dominant every international break, which will be welcome news for Newcastle as they prepare for a crucial Premier League stretch. Anthony Elanga also produced one of his most encouraging performances in recent memory, as Sweden fell 4-1 to Switzerland in Graham Potter's first game. Despite the heavy defeat, Swedish media highlighted Elanga's display on the left wing, where he offered a direct threat, delivered a brilliant cross for Sweden's equalizer, and looked lively throughout the first half. Many were surprised by how comfortable and dangerous he appeared operating on the opposite side of his usual position. He finished his 78-minute outing with 2 key passes, an 80% pass completion rate, 40% crossing accuracy, and 2 recoveries. Even so, his sharpness and confidence stood out during a difficult night for his team, with some Swedish fans calling for a permanent switch to a 4-4-2 built around Elanga and Rooney Bardghji on the wings. After the match, Elanga spoke honestly about the defeat while still recognizing the progress made under Potter after just 4 days of training. He emphasized that he felt good physically, enjoyed the freedom he was given, and believes this could be a turning point after a tough start to life at Newcastle. With just 1 goal so far, the Champions League strike, he is determined to build momentum and sees this international performance as a stepping stone. Elanga's confidence in wanting the ball constantly and his willingness to take responsibility are clear, and if he can translate this form into Eddie Howe's system, Newcastle may yet unlock the player they hoped they were signing. Then, Fabian Schär has undoubtedly carved out a special place in Newcastle United's history, earning admiration from fans for his key goals and crucial defensive displays over the past 7 years. Yet, despite his impact, many still consider him one of the most underrated figures in modern Premier League football. Recent concussion issues and fitness concerns, coupled with his status as one of the senior members of the squad, have sparked speculation that Schär's time on Tyneside may soon draw to a close. While he has previously expressed openness to extending his stay, new reports suggest a possible return to European football could be on the horizon. Sky Germany journalist Florian Plettenberg has reported that Schär could be on the move this January, with several Bundesliga clubs reportedly monitoring the Swiss centre-back as he enters the final 6 months of his contract. On X, Plettenberg wrote, "A winter move for Fabian Schär is possible, potentially to the Bundesliga as well. Inquiries have already been made for the 33-year-old experienced centre-back from Newcastle." Schär last played in Germany's top flight with Hoffenheim a decade ago, scoring once in 32 appearances before moving on to Deportivo La Coruña in Spain. Plettenberg also suggested that an extension in Newcastle seems very unlikely. This contrasts somewhat with Schär's own comments just weeks ago, in which he hinted that he would be happy to finish his career at St James's Park. Despite currently being behind Malik Chow, Sven Botman, and Dan Burn in Eddie Howe's defensive rotation, Schär appears content in a squad role. Speaking last month about a potential contract extension, he said, "I have said before I feel at home here. You never know in football, things change quickly. If an extension is possible, I would be open to it. Retiring at Newcastle United would be great. Everything feels right here, both on and off the pitch." The veteran defender's future remains uncertain, but whether he stays to see out his career or seeks a final adventure abroad, Schär's contribution to Newcastle will not be forgotten. Then, in an exciting development, if you would like to know Newcastle's secret transfer plan recently revealed by Keith Downey, click the video link on screen now.